GM and Chevy have car lots full of trucks, SUVs, small trucks, big trucks, diesel trucks, gas trucks, and every truck in between. The SUVs can't sell, unfortunately, and neither can the trucks. They keep filling up the lots, but they can't sell the products because A, the products are too expensive, and B, insult to injury, prices are going up even further. There's even more damage control going on over at GM, and they lost 2 key executives this week as well to slap on top insult to injury to the consumers just trying to afford an expensive mid-size pickup truck. Sierra 1500 Crew, 4-wheel drive, and they're actually asking $72,000. GM decides to go and slap on additional pricing. The MSRP for a lot of these Blazers right out of the hole, for example. Yes, let's get into it. Yes, this whole cost of living crisis is getting out of hand, and pickup trucks are no different. GM, Ram, as well as Ford have figured out that even during this last 2 or 3 years, with the increase in cost of living as well as the influx of additional interest rate hikes by the banks, people are still buying. They had government handouts, and now they're ready to spend their money. And now even with the fact that handouts have run out, there's still enough people, a sliver in the population, to buy some of these trucks. However, those numbers are dwindling. As you can see, car lots are filling up. Now there's not enough butts for each seat. Let's take a quick look and see how much you're spending and what you're actually getting for that. But this vehicle here is a whopping $114,000, as you can see. And even worse, you actually want a powerful engine. Look how much you have to spend to get a half-ton with the bigger 6.2 rig here. Well, we look at this, and they were at $81,000, 81 grand for this vehicle, which is a 2400 or 2024 1500 SLT. But on top of it, look how much money you're actually having to spend on one of these new Chevy Blazers. A Blazer is nothing more than a small to mid-size SUV packaged with now electric vehicle technology, but they've been on a stop hold of production because of some quality issues related to some of the infotainment screens glitching out, causing crashing, and as well, customers just not very satisfied with the product. The all-wheel drive version like this is about $54,595, all the way down from 60 grand. And even the RS rear-wheel drive version, rear-wheel only, you can actually get now for 56 grand and change, all the way down from 61. But that takes us as well to the next storyline. There was a little damage control going on at General Motors, and they were trying to fix some of the technical glitches that they had in this software and infotainment systems, and they hired a gentleman named Mike Abbott, who was the executive vice president for software and services. Abbott, who is actually a former Apple executive, who was brought in last year to spearhead software development efforts amid an investment ramp-up from the automaker in electric vehicles and subscription-based services. Abbott was brought into the organization to amalgamate those 3 systems and specifically deal with the problems that they're finding technically with the Blazer EV, which was a stop production, as well as the Chevy Colorado and the Canyon small to mid-size pickup trucks. Now, Abbott has very recently admitted that he's going to have to step down to some health reasons, and we all wish him the best. Hopefully everybody can get through this. At the end of the day, if you don't have health, you don't have anything. So it's very important we give them best wishes. However, at the GM head table, they've now lost Mike Abbott, who is there in charge to address some of the technical gremlins that we're finding in the Chevy Blazers. And so often my experience is whenever you see a major shakeup and you're losing VPs or you're losing people at the top of the organization, that usually means that they're in damage control and things are changing, and very aggressively. Because in fact, General Motors also lost Gerald Johnson, who was GM's executive vice president of global manufacturing and sustainability. That's a big word. Struggle with that one. Now, Gerald's retiring after 44 years. He's 61 years of age, and I'm sure he's doing just fine with a pension. Thank you very much. However, Johnson was a key figure in this past year, the UAW strikes. And Gerald was also that member that stood up and offered updates to the UAW and the employees as to changes and progress with the strike. And interestingly enough, just last month, CEO Mary Barra had commented that Mike Abbott has brought an incredible team, hired people from Google, Apple, Meta, and many tech companies with him to create this powerhouse. And now, unfortunately, with the latest news, Barra is referring to this 2024 as the year of execution. So you're probably wondering, who's going to replace Johnson? He's such a critical member. Well, yes, they already have that in their back pocket. We're talking about Jens Peter Clausen, who is an industrial leader in vast expertise in global manufacturing, and he actually comes from Tesla. Now, I'm not so sure I have the confidence in that because we know Tesla hasn't necessarily created the best product in terms of build quality, fit and finish, and meticulous assembly techniques. But time will tell. Now, his expertise comes from biomanufacturing, which may pay some dividends, but at the end of the day, GM just needs somebody with good leadership as well as attention to detail. So clearly, when there's a shakeup of this capacity and you're moving VPs around, that's an indication that they're scrambling, they're scared, they're running, and clearly they aren't necessarily where they want to be to move General Motors in the direction for long-term sustainability and product control. Of course, we know about Ford and what they've talked about, where quality and reliability is one of their key priorities, and they've even held vehicles back at port before they went to the market with the intent on reducing the amount of quality issues that get to the field and to the customers. Well, here we are, and General Motors is now trying to address similar issues. Again, the Blazer EV is one of those vehicles that almost got totally sidelined because they couldn't necessarily satisfy the customer issues. Now, where this gets interesting is for customers like you and I. If you want to go buy a Chevy, you think you're going to get a great deal. Well, you bring on new VPs, they're scrambling, cost of living and the competitiveness. Obviously, they just reduced the pricing of the Blazer EVs by about $6,000, depending on your rear-wheel drive. You want the all-wheel drive, the RS or LT models. They all saw a significant drop because they weren't selling and they weren't competitive. But the pickup trucks are somewhat competitive, and all they're doing is there's this race to edge out the next manufacturer like Ram as well as Ford. As long as nobody outruns anybody too far or falls back and undercuts anybody too far, those three keep playing the monopoly game because we know the chicken tax keeps them protected. In case you don't know what the chicken tax is, that's that 25% tariff applied to any foreign imports of trucks that would be natural competitors for the big three, Ram, Ford, and GM. Of course, they have no competition as a result, and therefore they can kind of cut it short, in my opinion, on quality control issues. But that's not where this ends. The problem is there have been recent price hikes. Again, not just in the base price of the vehicle. We all know that there's quality concerns. Buying a GM Chevy, door handles coming off, lifter issues on 5.3s and 6.2s, transmissions on 8-speed automatic units, and of course a host of other electrical leaks, coolant problems, and engine problems throughout. But that's not just where this issue begins and ends. Extended warranties. You want to buy yourself an additional warranty because you're not necessarily comfortable with the quality that you're getting from a GM pickup truck. Yes, you can buy yourself an extended warranty, but guess what? GM allegedly is putting out the feelers. They're increasing their extended warranty by 30%. So if you decide you want to keep that new Corvette for more than 3 years or 36,000 miles or your new GM pickup truck, then you might want to ante up. If you don't have the confidence in the quality of that vehicle, you might want that extended warranty. But April 7th is the targeted date where you're going to start seeing these increases. So if you're thinking about buying a GM, keep that in mind. I'm not saying that should push you into the decision. Maybe if anything, that makes you retract and reconsider buying a GM product. But that is, word on the street, more increases coming out of the General Motors camp. Do you want to learn more about what's going on over at GM? Right there, why they can't sell their trucks and customers are mad as hell. Hope to see each and every one of you on the next one. We'll catch you all real soon. Bye-bye.